What's cracking with your snack and snacker stars? It is me, the BRE, the man in the backwards hat, Brandon from the sAs, the Snack Food Appreciation Society. And you know what? As I filmed this today, it was like 75 degrees, maybe even warmer here near the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. Well, you know what? I think Little Caesars is more reliable than Phil the Groundhog, because he predicted that summer was coming quick, and they put out a brand new barbecue pizza, and I'm going to sink my teeth into it and let you know what I think about it right after this on Pizza Night. You are looking live at Little Caesars Pizza on Columbia Pike in Arlington, Virginia in the Columbia Pike Plaza. Tonight, smoke gets in your eyes. What happens when it does? Find out on this week's exciting edition of Pizza Night. Never fear, Pizza Night is once again here. Grab a can of beer for Friday night, February 24th, 2017. Apparently it's Flag Day in Mexico, but today in the States, or at least here at sAs headquarters, it is Smokehouse Night. And that is because Little Caesars has come out with a brand new hot and ready pizza for just $9. And that is their Smokehouse Brisket pulled pork and bacon barbecue pizza. Holy cow. Lots of stuff on there. Let's go ahead and recap for you. Of course, you've got brisket, apparently. Barbecue brisket. You've got pulled pork. And you've got bacon on top of cheese with barbecue sauce. And the crust apparently is barbecue seasoned as well. And you can kind of see that on the back end there. There's some bacon over here. There's some brisket over there. There's some pulled pork here and there. You see all of that stuff. Really, really nice. Very, very, very fragrant. Smells nice. Very barbecue-y. The police officer who lives down the hallway, I ran into him on the way in, and he remarked how good it smelled. And yes, it does. Looks like we got some errant something there. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, guys, let me go ahead and pick up this 420 slice for you and show that to you real quick. There you go. Now, being quote-unquote hot and ready, it's not so much hot, but it is ready. Not very flippity-floppity or anything, kind of stiffened up already. Not too enthused about that part of it. But we'll see how it affects the overall pizza when I take a bite of it and tell you what I think about it next on Pizza Night. Alright gang, I am back on Pizza Night special barbecue in the winter edition. Not really feeling like the winter here. Of course, I live in a building where the AC is controlled by the management. I can't turn it on whenever I want. So 75 degrees, got a lot of lights here. I'm hot, but the pizza's sure not, because as I showed you, it was very, very cool to the touch. It was hot and ready when I went in there, and I'll tell you why. Because I tried to call them multiple times to have one made fresh for me. I really didn't want to get a hot and ready, but their phone wasn't working. It kept saying the wireless caller is not accepting calls. What? I'm calling Little Caesars, and I checked the number over and over and over again. When I got there, I confirmed that their phone was not working, and I'm working under a time crunch, so I indeed took one of their hot and ready pizzas. Alright guys, well, I'm going to take one that looks like it's got a little bit of everything on it. I'm not going to go for that 420 slice. Doesn't really matter at this point. You know, I guess I could warm it up to, you know, make it a little more fair, but I don't think that's fair. I think it's fair to let this pizza be judged the way it was given to me. You know, perhaps it got a little bit cooler in the 5 minutes in between, you know, Columbia Pike and here, but I don't think, you know, cool to the touch necessarily. Hope I don't get trichinosis. Let me take a bite. I'll tell you what, this is kind of like the little pizza that could, because despite its shortcoming of being kind of cold, it's really, really tasty. That meat doesn't taste cheap, guys. It doesn't taste like something they got out of a Carl Buddig bag off the grocery store aisle, you know? The brisket tasted like brisket. It felt like brisket in my mouth. That's what she said. And also, it tasted really good. Did it taste as good as, say, Arby's brisket? No, because it wasn't quite as tender and didn't really fall apart in my mouth. There was a little more work to it, but it was still moist and still tasted really, really beefy, and it had a really good burnt or charred edges kind of thing going on, which I like a lot. You know, that sort of burnt flesh taste really, really is tasty. so to speak. Also, the pork was okay too, although that was a little on the dry side. That could be because of it, drying out while sitting and being a little bit cold, but that's okay. The one thing I didn't notice much of was the bacon, and I think that's just because it was overpowered by the other two meats. The sauce is sweet with just a little bit of smoke to it. So, calling it the Smokehouse, that's iffy because it doesn't have a real smoked flavor outside of the brisket, really. But the sauce was sweet, a little bit sticky. I can tell if I put this in the fridge, it's really going to congeal up, kind of like the KFC barbecue sauce, you know what I'm saying? So that was okay. The cheese just seemed to be whatever their normal pizza cheese mix is, whether it's mozzarella, provolone, whatever. It was really on the back burner in this particular pizza, just kind of made a blanket or a bed for everything else to lay upon. And then that crust does have a barbecue seasoning that's kind of consistent with the barbecue flavor of Bonton barbecue corn chips, if you've ever had those before. So put all that together, I think you have a pretty good pizza. In fact, if it would have been hot, it would have gotten 7/8 of a thumbs up, guys. But in its current form, not hot, but ready, I'm giving it a 3/4 thumbs up for the brand new barbecue smokehouse or smokehouse barbecue. Barbecue's in there somewhere. Brisket, pulled pork, and bacon sandwich pizza from Little Caesars. That's right, guys. Thanks for watching the SAS every day. Although we're not on every day. We're on almost every day, like 4 or 5 times a week. So make sure you catch our videos when you can. Also, join our group on Facebook with hundreds of the coolest people in the world in our group, and you should be too. Why aren't you? Click on the link down below to fix that, all right? Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon Reich SAS. And when you do, make sure you use the hashtag Snack Society all day, every day. That way we know what you're eating and you know what we're eating too. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, in between time, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.